Hello. This video, I don't know. Uh, this video is very simple. I'm here to prove two things. That one, I'm good at public speaking because that's what I need to do for my current English project. And two, that I hate my school. I just don't like it, man. It's not a good school. It's just not, man. They obviously don't appreciate me, and but through this story, maybe you can get something out of being a cog in a machine. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just dumb. Uh, but why do I say why do I seem so sad? I'm not really sad. Mostly I'm mad, but I'm not raising my voice because it's 9 o'clock at night and I don't want the people next to me because I live in a college dorm. That's why I'm talking about college. I don't want them to get mad at me. You know, that's not unlike my roommate. Unlike my roommate who, you know, has done the stupidest shit. But that's normal. Anyways, back to talking about bullshit for the next whatever minutes. I don't know. I feel like where did I start? Where did I realize that shit was gonna go downhill? From college, I realized that I was just a cog in a machine. Was definitely winter break, and winter break's a fun time. Oh, you go home for the holidays. I mean, I don't really do anything because my family doesn't celebrate. But that's past the point. But I went home to see my family. It was a good time. But that's neither here nor there. But since I'm out of state, it was very important to get the plane tickets right because apparently, which I didn't know at the time, was that if you weren't out of the building at a certain time, they just kicked you out. And I wasn't told this. I was never emailed this by my counselor or the staff. Everyone else knew. Apparently, I was one of the only kids who just didn't know. Uh, but maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe, you know, you know. One time, shame on me. Two times, shame on you. So this is and this is the real reason I'm recording this video. Is this is the second time. So we're ending the second semester, which is it's really quick. You know, second semester's gone by way faster. But we're nearing the finals. I got right now I'm taking all the tests right before the finals. Pre-test, whatever it's called. So that's good. I guess I don't really know if it's good or not. I haven't found out yet. We'll find out next week when I get my test scores back. But that's not the point. The point is, uh, I was going to apply for student housing. I was going to apply for dorms next year. Oh look. I try to apply. I started Googling. Hey man, it's only like April. Right now, I'm recording this like April, and they said, oh, you need to apply by November of last year. I was never told. My dad, who is way more on top of this shit than I am, he's the man who's like, hey, you need to talk to your counselor by this time. You need to do this and this by this time. And then I do it. He is never told. And this happened again during winter break, where the same thing happened where my dad was never told, I was never told about anything. And on top of that, since I'm out of state, I need to store my shit over summer. I'm from the East Coast and I live I'm going to college in Texas, so I need to store my shit. And I applied to the storage company and it said, "Oh, you've already made an application." What? I never did that. I never did that. So the storage is not working. I don't know where I'm going to live on campus next semester. Honestly, I might transfer because this is just so stupid. This is the second time. And you might be like, "Oh, you know, that's not such a big deal." Yeah, it's not just a big deal if you live in state. What you don't realize is that if I don't figure out where I store my stuff over summer, it's all gone. I don't get it back because I'm going to fucking Narnia uh for the next whatever months until I'm back into school. Oh, and next year's housing, I can't I don't have family to live with or anybody for that matter. What do you mean? I'm living out of state. I don't know where anyone is, you know. And I did the reason I wanted to go out of state was to not like not want to like live in a world where injustice exists. Not injustice, injustice exists everywhere, but live in a world where I didn't want to deal with my problems. I didn't want to deal with a kid who knew that I pissed my pants in second grade or something, some stupid shit. I didn't want people to recognize me. I wanted to start my life off right. It's college, last chance to change anything. So I thought, hey, I got this great scholarship in the middle of nowhere. Might as well go. But, you know, whatever, man. It doesn't really matter because they just don't give a shit about me. Even though, well, I'm not gonna. It doesn't really matter what grades I have. I was about to say, oh, my grades are so good, but it doesn't really matter because they're still not treating me well. So even if you have, bad grades, you can look up at to someone in me and be like, hey, he has good grades and, he goes to college and he still gets jack shit. So if you're ever feeling down and like, oh man, my life sucks, uh, realize it could always get worse. Like even in my situation, I know, like, oh, this might seem bad, you can't store your stuff over summer for college, you can't get a new dorm next year, you can't do all this shit. You have like, oh, and by the way, I have 5 tests next week, and the entire weekend I had to deal with trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do with my dorm and what I'm supposed to do with the storage company and blah 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 blah. And I have a lot of tests next week, all pain and misery, right? That's why I look so tired. But believe it or not, my life at home was way worse. Like way, way, way worse than this. Like this is nothing. So, you know, it's kind of depressing on how I look at my life. But how I look at it is like it can only get better from here because my life when I was at home sucked ass. That's why I wanted to go out of state, and then my life out of state still sucks ass. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm not really a religious guy, so I don't think God's here to test me. I just think there's just some person trying to fuck with me. Like I fucked over some rich famous guy when I was like 2 years old by like screaming like something that he didn't like. Like when I was in kindergarten, I screamed Santa doesn't exist, and I think because of that, I'm paying penance because every single thing in my life past that point has just been a constant disappointment to me. I mean, I try really hard in school. I applied to all these jobs. I get nothing. I have to go back home during summer. I have to apply to more jobs. It's just absolute pain and misery, like all the time. And it's like, oh, you know, I got this good scholarship. I can go to this good school, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Yeah. Anyways, I feel like I had to say something to someone because if I didn't, I was gonna, I don't know. But I feel like it's always good to talk to someone about it. My parents just don't really seem to. I mean, they care, of course, because they're my parents, but they're just like, oh, it'll all be okay. Yeah, they've never had to deal with this shit in their life. They're like blue collars, like, oh yeah, they're like blue collar people who like are like, oh, it'll all be okay if you work hard enough. And it's like, okay, mom. Uh, I love them, but it's true. Anyways, what other problems? My roommate's constantly having sex and wild parties and coming home at 3 a.m. Uh, that's, whatever. I don't really care, but I just need to go to sleep at a normal time, which, would be nice. Chemistry sucks ass. Every single person in my chemistry class, you know what I'm talking about. If you recognize the border in my room, the red border, red and black, by the way, go Raiders. They, my chemistry class is so bad that the passing rate on the test, like you get a B in the class, a passing rate on the test is a 60%. Like without a bell curve. You get a 60% on the test, you pass the class. That's how hard the tests are, and that's 15% of your grade. Each test is 15%, and the final test is 20%. Now I'm about to take another one, and I don't think I studied enough, but no studying is ever enough for these fucking tests. It's fucking insane. Any other test I'm worried about this week? Oh, my math test. It was supposed to be the hardest math test. They said, oh, this is not like the other test that you have to study for this for a long period of time. And of course, I haven't studied for it because I had to deal with this shit. So that's, you know, fine and dandy. But yeah, I mean, if you're already worried in your life, like, oh, my life sucks, just remember, there's always someone else. I mean, I'm sure, I mean, like, there's gonna be like 10 people watching this video, probably. And there, out of the 10 people, there's gonna be one guy who's like, oh yeah, I don't have a leg. And I'm just gonna have to accept that and be like, okay, yeah, you got it, man. Anyways, just wanted to complain about the modernity of college. College really sucks. Job searching really sucks. Testing really sucks. I wish I could just do my assignments and be done with life, but oh well. Nothing's ever that easy, as I've learned. The more I've grown up, if you're a little kid watching this video, if you're like 13 years old, which by the way, get off the platform is 10 o'clock at night when I'm releasing this. Time to go to bed, little child. But other than that, if you're a young child and you're like, oh man, I really want to grow up so I can do more things. What you don't realize is your parents have placed all these guardrails to make sure you are doing the best thing possible. You're playing video games in your room. What you don't see is your parents paying your taxes. What you don't see is your parents making sure that you have a workable car to drive to school or, a backpack or a lunch in the morning. Like you have to, when you're in college or when you're an adult, you have to do that shit. And it is really depressing. Honestly, I don't know how people fucking deal with this, especially when you have basically no friends who want to do anything with you on a daily basis. I mean, sometimes, I have friends who talk to me, but not every single day like high school. It's all pain and misery is what I'm trying to say. What's up?